Hey guys, welcome back to the Sleepy Science channel. Tonight we're diving into one of nature's quietest yet most impressive plot twists, symbiosis. It's the dawn of life on Earth. No humans, no Wi-Fi, not even a decent cup of coffee, and everything is just trying not to go extinct. And you're a tiny organism floating in a warm prehistoric soup, doing your best impression of a jelly bean with ambitions. You're fragile, confused, and one temperature shift away from becoming molecular soup. Thankfully, evolution taps you on the shoulder and whispers, "Hey, maybe try teaming up." And just like that, symbiosis enters the chat. Before you get cozy, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy drifting into scientific chaos with me. And tell me in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is. It's always fun to see who else is losing sleep with us. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft "I live alone in a cottage" ambience, and let's slide into tonight's gentle madness. Symbiosis literally means living together, which is a fancy Greek way of saying life figured out roommates millions of years before humans did. Sometimes both species benefit, sometimes only one, and sometimes one organism is basically freeloading while the other shrugs and says, "Fine, whatever." But no matter the arrangement, these partnerships prove one thing: survival is a group project, even if one partner does absolutely nothing. We tend to think evolution is all about fighting teeth, claws, gladiator bark beetles, but symbiosis tells a different story. Turns out cooperation sometimes beats violence, which is shocking considering humans still argue about who left the milk out. Throughout Earth's history, the organisms that teamed up often outlived the ones that insisted on being lone wolves. From coral reefs to forest floors to the mitochondria inside your cells, teamwork quietly runs the universe. Now enter mutualism, the healthiest relationship status nature has ever invented. This is when both partners win, like the biological equivalent of two friends splitting rent and actually doing their chores. These partnerships are everywhere, though you usually miss them unless you're the kind of person who stares at bees for fun. Still, they form the backbone of ecosystems, creating infinite tiny trade deals where everyone gets something they need. Take flowering plants and their pollinators. Bees, butterflies, birds, even bats swing by for free sugary drinks like tiny winged customers at a 24-hour nectar bar. While they're chugging their floral smoothies, pollen sticks to them like glitter at a questionable music festival. When they hop to the next flower, they drop off that pollen and boom, the plant reproduces. Food for the pollinator, fertilization for the plant, and no awkward first date required. Over millions of years, this partnership turned into a full-blown evolutionary rom-com. Flowers evolved bright colors, irresistible perfumes, and shapes designed to seduce very specific pollinators. Some orchids even dress up like female insects just to trick male ones into performing pollination duties. Meanwhile, pollinators evolved long tongues, specialized beaks, and finely tuned senses to find their floral partners. It's nature's most dramatic slow burn romance. The result? A world bursting with color, fragrance, movement, and an unbelievable amount of pollen-related drama. Entire ecosystems depend on these tiny exchanges. Without pollinators, many plants would simply cease to exist. And without those plants, the world as we know it would unravel faster than human friendships formed during group projects. Countless animals have turned floral nectar and pollen into their go-to snacks, resulting in a delightful but essential relationship with plants. This mutualism is like a cosmic buddy system that supports life across various food webs, from tiny insects darting about to the grandest mammals roaming the land. Without pollinators, we'd have a less vibrant world filled with sad, nectarless flowers. It's the kind of arrangement that keeps life buzzing along, quite literally. Now, let's take a plunge into the ocean's hidden gardens, the coral reefs. Rising majestically below tropical waters, these underwater cities are bursting with colorful life. But did you know these incredible structures rely on a tight partnership? Tiny coral polyps, hardly bigger than your fingernail, are the stars of the show, playing host to millions of microscopic algae called zooxanthellae. This duo takes symbiosis to a whole new level, with algae living literally inside the coral's homes. Talk about close quarters. The symbiotic relationship is a win-win. The zooxanthellae get protection from the coral blues, while the coral reaps its benefits, including tasty sugars and oxygen that the algae generate through photosynthesis. It's a sweet deal. These tiny algae supply up to 90% of the coral's nutritional bounty. In return, corals shower their microscopic buddies with carbon dioxide and a cozy home, creating a vibrant ecosystem that thrives in otherwise nutrient-poor waters. Visually dazzling, these coral reefs flaunt colors that can make even the most experienced artist green with envy. Those brilliant hues of blue, green, purple, and yellow, all thanks to the zooxanthellae. When you gaze at a fabulous coral reef, you're really witnessing millions of little gardens thriving together. But before every tropical party, remember that these relationships teeter on a delicate edge. A slight rise in water temperature can make coral turn on its friends, leading to coral bleaching, a ghastly sight. Coral bleaching occurs when stressed corals kick the algae to the curb, turning vibrant reefs into ghostly white remains. Without their algal partners, corals lose not only their color but their food source, leading to a desperate fight for survival. If the stress doesn't ease up, it's a one-way ticket to starvation and doom for not just the corals but the entire ecosystem that hangs in the balance. It's like the ultimate breakup story, tragic and dire for everyone involved. In the grand history of life on Earth, the partnership between coral and zooxanthellae has stood strong through ice ages, volcanic eruptions, and more. Yet, today, rising ocean temperatures and increasing acidity threaten this ancient union like never before. With a quarter of all marine species relying on these coral reefs, the stakes are at an all-time high in this microscopic soap opera of survival. Now, let's shift gears to the intriguing world of lichens, a unique partnership scrawled across the landscape. Take a stroll through any forest, and you might get distracted by the colorful displays of lichens clinging to trees, stones, and logs. These crusty wonders are not mere lowly organisms. They are a power couple, combining the talents of fungi with algae or cyanobacterium, sometimes both. Each lichen is like a weird, composite organism that gets classified as one, even though they're like the world's wackiest roommate situation. The fungus lays down the law, forming the body of the lichen while offering its photosynthetic pal shelter from harsh elements. On the flip side, the alga gets to work, producing sugars through photosynthesis and sharing the wealth with the fungi. Some lichen also moonlight as nitrogen fixers. Together, as an unbeatable duo, they conquer barren landscapes that none could handle on their own, turning sheer rock and harsh climes into the building blocks of life. Talk about team spirit. Lichens are like the original overachievers of the natural world, paving the way for other forms of life to thrive. Some species grow at a snail's pace, eking out just a millimeter or two annually, making the oldest ones thousands of years young, like nature's ancient sponges silently observing the passing centuries. These resilient organisms have weathered ice ages and droughts, laying low in tough conditions, only to spring back to life when the rain returns. Talk about patience. These champions are living testaments to the power of teamwork. While they look quite unassuming, lichens are the ultimate watchdogs for air quality. Since they directly absorb nutrients and water from the atmosphere, they also soak up pollutants faster than a sponge in a soapy sink. If you're in an area with iffy air quality, don't be surprised if certain lichen species abandon ship. Scientists often turn into detectives, using the presence or absence of these hardy life forms to monitor environmental health, turning the landscape into a colorful map that indicates where the air is as clean as a whistle. Now let's dive underground into another incredible partnership: legumes and their bacterial buddies known as rhizobia. These tiny guys hang out in quirky little nodes on the roots, looking like friendly bumps ready to party. When you dig them up and give their roots a rinse, you'll find that these bacteria pull off a fantastic magic trick, transforming atmospheric nitrogen gas into ammonia, which plants gobble up to build proteins and DNA. It's quite a dynamic duo, with rhizobia being the superheroes of nutrient supply while legumes keep the party going with sugary treats. However, this whole nitrogen fixation gig is no walk in the park. It demands substantial energy and fancy enzymes. In fact, most organisms can't pull it off, but rhizobia ball with it like pros. They not only furnish their plant hosts with a reliable nitrogen stash, but also get a cozy shared nook to thrive in. Together, they craft fertility from thin air and sunshine, proving that cooperation can turn the mundane into miraculous bounty, much to the delight of all botanical life forms. For farmers, these legume-bacteria partnerships are like discovering the cheat codes for high soil fertility. Ever since ancient times, they've known that planting legumes can jazz up the soil, cutting down on how much synthetic fertilizer is actually needed. These synthetic creations are like energy vampires, consuming fossil fuels to produce, only to leach into waterways later. And in natural habitats, it's even cooler. Nitrogen-fixing dynamos allow forests to flourish in rather uncooperative soils, boosting growth and liveliness. Don't think legumes are the only stars in this nitrogen fixing show. The birch family trees have their own partners in crime, a quirky bacterium called Frankia. These trees commonly pop up in disturbed areas, like riverbanks, where they work their magic, enriching the soil just in time for other plants to stake their claim. With the right partners, barren landscapes can transform into luscious ecosystems faster than you can say photosynthesis. Finally, let's celebrate the unseen but mighty alliances thriving beneath our feet, mycorrhizae. This spectacular partnership, meaning fungus roots, connects fungi and plant roots in a grand web of collaboration. It's one of the most widespread forms of symbiosis on land, fueling growth and health across the plant kingdom. So next time you think of dirt, just remember it's not just dirt. It's a bustling city of relationships, alive with the magic of nature's cooperation. Over 90% of land plants have teamed up with microbes in partnerships that date back hundreds of millions of years. These alliances are so vital that they likely paved the way for plants to make their big move onto land. Fungi stretch their fine, thread-like hyphae deep into the soil, forming intricate networks far-reaching in their quest for water and nutrients, helping plants claim their territory. These fungal threads can slip into the tiniest soil cracks and access resources that root systems could only dream of. And here's the kicker. It's a symbiotic system with a flair for generosity. The fungi absorb essential minerals like phosphorus and nitrogen from the soil and send them over to their green companions, while in return, plants generously dish out sweet sugars they produce through photosynthesis. But this isn't just an average trade-off. Oh no! This underground exchange can connect several plants, allowing different species to share the goodies, like a community potluck but with nutrients instead of casseroles. Imagine a towering tree playing the role of the benevolent sugar daddy. Through this massive network, it can pass on sugars to its seedlings, giving them the leg up they need until they are tall enough to stand in the sunlight. Meanwhile, if one plant finds itself under insect attack, it can sound the alarm by sending chemical signals through the fungal network, rallying nearby plants to whip up their defenses. It's like a leafy SOS message. The sophistication of these fungal networks is mind-blowing. They prioritize nutrient flow toward plants that require them the most, a bit like a plant-based first responder system. When one plant kicks the bucket, no worries. The nutrients it leaves behind can be redistributed to help out the surviving members of the community. Researchers have dubbed this amazing system the Wood Wide Web, a living, breathing internet bustling beneath our feet in the forest. Let's take a moment to appreciate the orchid, a diva in the plant world that can't even germinate without its fungal BFF. These tiny seeds lack stored nutrients, depending entirely on fungi for their sustenance. The fate of orchids and fungi is intertwined. If the fungi vanish, so do the orchids, making their conservation efforts squarely interlinked. This gut-wrenching drama extends to larger ecosystems where fungal networks play vital roles in carbon cycling and bolstering soil health. Picture this: fungal hyphae binding soil particles together to fight erosion while also burying carbon from the atmosphere deep underground. Some estimates say these microscopic partners store billions of tons of carbon globally. They're like janitors for the climate system, sweeping up excess CO2 and making the invisible connections of life all the more significant. The revelation of mycorrhizal networks has transformed how we view our beloved forests. Trees aren't just selfish beasts in a contest for survival. They are interconnected family members. The grand old trees serve as hubs, nurturing the younger ones and keeping the forest thriving. When these ancient giants are cut down, the ramifications ripple through the entire network, altering the balance of the ecosystem and leading to reconsiderations in forestry and plant communication. Now, let's pivot to your own gut. Inside your body, particularly in the large intestine, trillions of bacteria, fungi, viruses, and other microorganisms work together in a vibrant ecosystem known as the gut microbiome. Astonishingly, the number of microbial cells is roughly equal to your own, making you as much microbe as human. This bustling internal community isn't an infection. It's an age-old partnership that has evolved over millennia to help your body function smoothly. Thanks to these friendly microbes, you can digest complex carbohydrates and even produce essential vitamins, like B12 and K2, that your body isn't able to create on its own. Research has taken a wild turn, diving deep into the symbiotic world of gut microbes. These microscopic helpers are like the neighborhood therapists of our intestines, producing neurotransmitters such as serotonin and dopamine, which play pivotal roles in mood and behavior. Imagine your gut throwing a party for your mental health. Scientists are still piecing together how these bacteria affect not just your mood swings, but also the very fabric of your personality. It's like realizing your gut has been writing the script to your life this whole time. In gratitude for the cozy spot they get to call home, gut microbes rely on us for food, yes, the very meals we chow down on. Especially fiber-rich delights like fruits, veggies, and whole grains. Each bite you take is like a buffet for these little critters. But here's the kicker: different microbial species are a bit choosy about what they consume. So, if you want a thriving community down there, keep the menu diverse. A smorgasbord of foods leads to a happy microbiome, and a happy microbiome leads to happy, healthy you. However, as with all great partnerships, things can go awry. Enter the villain of the story: antibiotics. While these medications are lifesavers, they don't discriminate when it comes to bacteria. They wipe out both the good and the bad. Pair that with a poor diet, chronic stress, or the dreaded lack of sleep, and your gut bacteria can throw a tantrum. When balance is upset, the not-so-friendly bacteria can start a ruckus, leading to inflammation and all sorts of trouble. Caring for your gut garden is crucial. But fret not. These little microbes are the resilient types, bouncing back once you start treating them right. The gut microbiome is an exciting frontier in medical research. Enter fecal microbiota transplants, yes, you heard that right. In these daring procedures, healthy microbes from someone else are introduced into a patient. The results have been amazing in treating certain infections and hold potential for various conditions. It's like a microbiome makeover that's turning heads in the medical community. In another parallel world beneath the ocean, cleaning stations serve as bustling hubs for underwater hygiene. Picture this: larger fish cruising through vibrant tropical reefs, seeking out tiny cleaners like the famous cleaner wrasse. These made-for-TV fish create an extravagant spectacle as they pick out parasites and dead tissue from their larger clients. Trust plays a crucial role here, as these predator fish who could munch the cleaners in a snap relax and allow tiny fish to work their magic. It's basically a spa day for fish. This marvelous partnership is a win-win. The larger fish enjoy better health, free from pesky parasites, while the cleaners score a buffet of delectable delicacies. It's such an essential relationship that removing cleaner fish from the reef can lead to fish health as well as diversity nosediving. Some fish even embark on epic journeys, traveling miles to visit their favorite cleaning stations, cementing the importance of these scrubbing salons in aquatic life. Cleaning services don't stop at fish, either. Shrimp clean Murray eels, despite the danger of being dinner, and birds lend a wing in picking insects off large mammals like buffalo. Some legends even say Egyptian plovers tackle crocodile dental hygiene, although documentation is a tad scarce on that one. It's a quirky world of partnerships where one organism's gross bits become another's tasty treat. These cleaning symbioses help keep the ecosystem in balance. But beware, deceit lurks in the water, with some fish masquerading as cleaners only to take a bite out of trusting clients. Cheeky little devils. In the vivid world of aquatic life, the balance hinges on the relationship between cleaner fish and their clients. When bandwidth allows too many rogue cheaters to infiltrate the cleaning stations, the fish seeking hygiene might bolt faster than you can say underwater beauty treatment. A sneaky cleaner could ruin the whole operation, proving that even in the fishy realm, trust issues run deep. Both species must work hard to keep this marine spa running smoothly. Just as water creatures have their quirks, the fig and wasp relationship is an ancient tale of collaboration. Picture this: fig trees and fig wasps, a duo so dependent on each other that they've perfected their partnership for around 80 million years. It's a high-stakes game where neither can thrive without the other. The figs aren't your regular fruits. No, they're actually clusters of flowers, elegantly hiding tiny blooms inside, waiting for their pollinator partners to arrive for a not-so-dainty rendezvous. Now, here's where it gets wild. A female fig wasp, determined and with a warrior spirit, must squeeze her way into the fig's dark heart through a narrow entrance. Wings? Gone. Antennae? Bye-bye. This is a one-way trip filled with floral delights. Inside, she lays her eggs in some flowers while simultaneously leaving pollen behind for others, igniting the circles of life. After her work is done, she kicks the bucket in a bittersweet end, her job complete, truly a hero's journey. As those adorable young wasp larvae develop in their cozy galls, the drama doesn't stop there. Males emerge just in time to ensure the legacy continues. They can't procrastinate. They mate while suffocating inside the fig, risking it all to succeed in their tiny world. After creating exit holes for the females, it's game over for them as well. Meanwhile, the females buzz off to new figs, pollen-laden and ready to start the cycle anew. Who knew fig trees could host such a lively party? Timing plays a crucial part in this intertwining saga of figs and wasps. Figs strategically bloom in phases, ensuring female flowers are primed for the wasp's arrival while the males pump out fresh pollen. A masterclass in scheduling and synchrony. This careful orchestration ensures that wasps have a steady supply of homes to lay their eggs while figs flourish in abundance, ready to appease the hungry creatures that rely on their fruit. Let's not forget the ecological impact of this precious partnership. Fig trees are like the popular kids in the forest, offering sustenance to endangered species and filling the gaps when food is scarce. They keep critters, from birds to mammals, happy and thriving. If fig trees vanished, it wouldn't just be a loss of snacking opportunities. It would unravel ecosystems, showcasing just how vital this duo is. On a grander scale, life is a series of beautiful partnerships. Picture endosymbiotic relationships where cells learn to work together. Think of it. Eukaryotic cells filled with specialized organelles were once independent bacteria, cleverly commandeered to enhance the cellular club. The mitochondria, our cells' powerhouses, and chloroplasts, the champions of plant photosynthesis, owe their existence to this brilliant cooperative move by ancient cells, proving that collaboration has always been key to survival. Imagine a prehistoric scene where tiny bacteria decide they found a cozy new home that of larger cells. Instead of being gobbled up for lunch, these little guys set up shop permanently. This arrangement, known as endosymbiosis, was a game changer. Mitochondria and chloroplasts emerged as the ultimate power players, complete with their own DNA and the ability to replicate independently, much like those sneaky bacteria. Who knew that dinner could lead to such a profound alliance? Fast forward to now, our cells are packed with these ancient roommates, so essential that they keep us thriving. Mitochondria are energy dynamos, converting food into ATP, the fuel that powers everything from our brain's light bulb moments to lifting heavy grocery bags. And don't forget about chloroplasts. They're the life-loving green machines that soak up sunlight and churn it into sugary goodness. Without this wild partnership of bacteria turned organelles, Earth would be a pretty dull, one-celled party. In the realm of plants, chloroplasts and mitochondria share a harmonious existence. While chloroplasts are busy catching sun rays and scattering sugars through photosynthesis, mitochondria are the trusty sidekicks, breaking down those sugars to keep energy flowing 24/7. It's like a well-oiled machine where energy is always on tap, and without them, the rich tapestry of plant life wouldn't even be in the picture. They've become so integrated that separating them would be like trying to separate peanut butter from jelly. Now, swing over to the bustling jungles of Central and South America, where acacia trees have forged quite the unique alliance with aggressive ants. These trees roll out the red carpet for their tiny bodyguards by offering hollow thorns for shelter and producing delicious nectar and protein-packed snacks. In return, the ants don't just stand guard, they're fierce protectors, unleashing a sting or a bite on any herbivore brave enough to eye the leaves. Talk about a security detail. But wait, there's more. These ants are not just defenders, they're also gardeners. They trim away pesky vines and wrangle competing plants that dare to grow too close, granting their beloved acacia prime sunbathing real estate. Some even go so far as to assassinate nearby branches, ensuring only their acacia thrives, as they maintain a perfect plantation. It's practically a full-time job for these tiny warriors, but the acacia trees reward them handsomely with food and protection. For some species, this bond is the very definition of codependence. Certain ants can't just find any tree, they've linked their lives entirely to acacia for survival. Likewise, some acacia trees have given up their own defense mechanisms since they fully rely on their ant buddies to keep them safe from herbivore snacking. This mutual dependency has led to some fascinating adaptations, with each partner evolving special traits that enhance the partnership's success. And just when you think it couldn't get any cooler, young acacia trees start their own clever marketing strategy. They pump out their food rewards before the ants even show up, advertising their potential partnership. This tactic attracts ant queens, who set up colonies right in the thorns. As both the tree and the ant colony grow together, they create a formidable defense team. Talk about teamwork making the dream work in the wild. In the magnificent world of trees, once they reach maturity, an army of ants takes charge, treating the branches like their very own beat. These tiny guardians strike a deal with the trees. In exchange for sweet sap and protection from pesky herbivores, they offer up their rigorous security services. It's a marvel of nature's organization. However, not all ant citizens play by the rules. Sneaky species munch on the tree's goodies while providing personal bodyguard services that leave much to be desired. Talk about freeloaders. But wait, the drama doesn't end there. Caterpillars and beetles have decided that they won't play nice either. They've evolved superpowers, shielding themselves from ant attacks and even releasing substances that turn ants into relaxed lounge buddies, letting them snack freely. This cheetah-counter-keeter cycle leads to an evolutionary game of cat and mouse, where parties constantly adapt and shift the balance of their relationships. Nature threw in a plot twist, keeping everyone on their toes. Next, let's talk about arcspeckers, those feathered fellows who've made a name for themselves in the animal kingdom. Found hopping around on the backs of zebras, rhinos, and buffalo, These birds have traditionally been celebrated for their parasite-removing prowess. Ticks. No problem. But recent studies have raised a red flag, suggesting that arcspeckers prefer a more delicious dish with the blood of their hosts. Rather than helping their mammalian buddies, these little rascals might actually be keeping wounds open to savor their favorite snack. Despite the blood-sucking scandal, mammals seem to appreciate the presence of arcspeckers. They tolerate, maybe even encourage, these pesky partners, possibly because the birds alert them to lurking predators. Sure, the relationship may wobble more towards parasitism these days, but it's a wild world out there. Perhaps what once flourished with mutualism has evolved, reminding us that these relationships are anything but static. Nature is messy, and she loves a good plot twist. Ever heard of commensalism? It's a less glamorous type of partnership where one party reaps all the rewards while the other sits back, indifferent. Think of the remora fish, the ace hitchhikers of the ocean. They latch onto sharks, rays, and turtles, dining on leftovers while cruising along in luxury. Their hosts hardly notice the little freeloaders. It's a classic case of you scratch my back, and I'll ignore yours. Then there are barnacles, the true bronies of the marine world. They attach themselves to whales, tapping into nutrient-rich waters through their buddies' travels. Sure, they add a bit of extra weight to the whales, but for the colossal creature, it's a mere drop in the ocean. While the barnacle enjoys a buffet on the go, the whale shows remarkable indifference, reminding us that not all partnerships require cozy, give and take dynamic. Sometimes, living together simply means executing life hacks in the most unexpected ways. In this vivid tapestry of relationships, it becomes clear the exchange of benefits isn't always straightforward. As we explore the wild collaborations of nature, we find that complex interactions shape the narrative of life. It's not a clear-cut story of heroes and villains, but rather an intricate dance of survival that blurs the lines of mutualism, parasitism, and commensalism. Nature thrives on complication, and who can blame her? That's where the real magic happens. In the tropical forests, where the sun loves to shine down, epiphytic plants like orchids, bromeliads, and mosses have evolved a cheeky little existence. These plants cling onto tree branches, using them as coveted platforms to bask in sunlight. The twist: they don't siphon off nutrients from the trees, instead opting for the scrumptious rainwater and organic debris that lands on their leafy parties. So, while the trees stand tall and unaffected, these green freeloaders get all the glory from nature's buffet without giving a crumb in return. Talk about a winning strategy. The idea of commensalism, where one organism benefits without harming another, can get a bit blurry. Picture barnacles hitching a ride on a whale. A few may happily sit there, while hundreds of them could slow the mighty behemoth down, tipping the balance toward parasitism. It's a fine line. Even bird nests in trees seem like a casual grab for space, but those little feathered friends repay their leafy landlords with nutrient-rich droppings that do wonders for tree growth. Now that's what I call symbiotic recycling. Let's chat about parasites, those notorious party crashers in the grand biosphere. They have a knack for thriving at someone else's expense, and yes, they sometimes carry a villainous reputation. But here's a plot twist. Parasitism is a form of symbiosis too. While they might suck the life out of their hosts, ticks and tapeworm parasites come in more forms than you can shake a stick at. Ecto and endoparasites might seem like the bad guys, but the nature of their games can be quite intricate. For example, malaria parasites sneak into our red blood cells and throw wild parties, leading to all sorts of fevers. Meanwhile, toxoplasmosis parasites mysteriously influence the behavior of mice, making them less wary of cats. It's like they're pulling strings from behind the curtains, ensuring their life cycles go off without a hitch. This manipulation is mind-boggling and highlights the cunning strategies some parasites employ to get what they want. And hold on. Some parasites even push their hosts towards self-sacrifice, like how rabies makes animals go full Jekyll and Hyde, aggressively spreading the virus like a celebrity. Hairworms, on the other hand, orchestrate a water-leaping drama with infected crickets, ensuring their future is bright and amphibious. While at first glance parasites seem to be all bad news, they actually have an essential role in maintaining ecological balance. Stirring the pot even further, parasites might just stimulate evolution in their hosts. This relationship resembles an exhilarating evolutionary roller coaster. As hosts beef up their defenses, parasites get creative with counter-adaptations. This back and forth is like a high-stakes game of chess that keeps both players on their toes, ultimately leading to rich genetic diversity. Surprisingly, the distinction between parasite and mutualist can sometimes resemble a mystical fog. Some parasites, like intestinal worms, can even lend a helping hand by fine-tuning immune responses. They may swoop in to help reduce allergies or even keep autoimmune diseases at bay. It seems that in the riveting web of the natural world, even those deemed villains can have a dash of heroism tucked away in their playbooks. Researchers are diving into an unusual avenue for treating immune disorders, controlled infections with certain parasites. Picture this: parasites as medicine. It might sound bizarre, but they're studying the potential benefits of these sneaky little critters. It's a strange but captivating thought, flipping the script on how we usually think about these small, sometimes harmful organisms, and leading us to consider them as possible allies in health. Now, let's shift to the realm of the avian world, where brood parasitism reigns supreme. Picture a cuckoo bird, an expert in deception, laying eggs in the nests of unsuspecting bird parents. These adoptive bird moms and dads, convinced they are feeding their own young, end up raising cuckoo chicks that are not just bigger but also quite a bit more demanding. Talk about parenting gone awry. Instead of their own chicks, they end up taking care of little intruders who are clever enough to evict their rivals. Nature, right? But wait, host birds are not pushing the panic button just yet. Through a fierce game of hide and seek, many have sharpened their skills at identifying these deceitful eggs. When a cuckoo tries to sneak one in, these parents can sometimes see through the camouflage. Egg coloration and patterns have become a battleground for evolution, where both parasites and hosts are doing an evolutionary jig, trying to outsmart each other in a never-ending contest of wits. Some birds have taken it a step further. Take the reed warblers, for example. Rather than just rejecting foreign eggs, they've crafted nests that require some serious acrobatics to access. And others don't shy away from a little ruckus, vehemently chasing off would-be cuckoo intruders. Yet, despite all these ingenious defenses, brood parasites continue to thrive, demonstrating that evolution is more about adaptability than outright victory. But let's widen our lens. Brood parasitism isn't an exclusive avian affair. Some fish play the same tricky game, stashing their eggs in the nests of other species. Ants get in on the action too, snatching up larvae from other colonies and turning them into workers. It's a bit like an extreme version of babysitting, only with a twist of theft. This recurring strategy hints at some serious evolutionary perks, even if it seems a tad ruthless at first. Switching gears, let's dive into the fascinating holobionts concept. Each organism is more than just a single player. It's a bustling ecosystem of symbiotic partners. Imagine a coral reef. It's not just the coral itself, but a vibrant community that includes algae, bacteria, and who knows what else lurking within those colorful crevices. All these tiny players dance to the same evolutionary tune, indicating that natural selection operates on the whole gang, rather than just isolated individuals. And guess what? That ecosystem idea applies to you, too. Your body is a delightful hotbed of microbes, outnumbering your own cells. These tiny residents help you digest food, churn out vital vitamins, train your immune system, and even influence your mood. You're essentially a walking community of life, woven together and navigating life as one unit. It's a whole new way to appreciate the complexity of existence and all those microorganisms that call you home. More intriguingly, understanding organisms in their collective roles opens up a treasure trove of insights. When corals, for instance, face rising ocean temperatures, it's not just their genes that may change. They might recruit a different strain of algae or shift their microbial residence to better cope with stress. This network of relationships presents adaptable survival strategies, making it clear that in the grand tapestry of life, we're all interconnected and stronger together. Evolution is no longer a solo act, it's a full-throttle ensemble performance. Drawing a line between one organism and another is trickier than it seems. Imagine your mitochondria, those powerhouse little things, were once independent bacteria. If they're crucial to your survival, then are they really separate? And don't get me started on our gut microbes. They influence our thoughts and overall health. The boundaries we draw for individuality may make for neat classifications, but they fail to capture the wild web of connections that bind us all. This interconnected reality redefines how we think about medicine and conservation. To tackle a disease, it might not be enough to just patch up the host. It's about restoring the balance of the entire microbial community. In the realm of conservation, protecting one endangered species isn't just about saving the creature itself, but also about safeguarding its symbiotic pals. Coral conservation, for instance, demands attention to the diverse zooanthellae living within those beautiful reefs. Now, let's dive into a kooky concept called horizontal gene transfer. Unlike good old vertical gene transfer, where parents pass down genes to offspring, this cheeky method involves exchanging genetic material between unrelated organisms. Imagine bacteria swapping their fancy traits like trading cards. Talk about a genetic party. This phenomenon isn't exclusive to bacteria. It's a party that many organisms join, leading to gusts of innovation across the evolutionary landscape. Take insects that suck sap from plants. They've gotten a gym membership by acquiring genes from bacteria. These genes let them craft essential amino acids they couldn't snag from their otherwise boring diet. For example, aphids rely on their buddy bacteria, Buchnera, to survive. This duo has been in cahoots for eons, with both losing unnecessary genes and becoming inseparable in their quest for existence. And here's where it gets wildly fascinating. Sea slugs have stolen genes straight from the algae they munch on. They absorb those genes and, poof, they can produce chloroplasts and carry out photosynthesis, temporarily becoming solar-powered superheroes. This quirky blend of plant and animal showcases the magic of horizontal gene transfer, which allows life forms to nab sophisticated traits without the long evolution grind. In a world where evolution is often portrayed as a tidy branching tree, horizontal gene transfer sprinkles chaos into the mix, a genetic web rather than a linear path. This network illustrates how species intersect and exchange traits, especially in life's early days when species boundaries were as flimsy as a spider's silk. It's like nature's way of saying, why go through years of grinding it out when you can just trade? Speaking of peculiar partnerships, consider termites, heroes of the wood-eating world. Now, these tiny critters can't munch on cellulose alone. They're reliant on their lively gut community of microorganisms. This complex team of bacteria, archaea, and protists does the heavy lifting, breaking down wood into digestible bits, a grand display of teamwork that underscores the theme of interconnected life. So next time you spot a termite, remember they're not just eating wood, they're getting by with a little help from their microbial friends. In the world of lower termites, the real digestive heavy lifting happens in the hindgut, where single-celled protists have made themselves right at home. These protists aren't alone. They've got bacteria hitching a ride on their surfaces and inside their cells, working together in a layered symbiotic system. Think of it as a tiny digestive party, where the bacteria assist the protists in breaking down cellulose into simpler sugars. The protists then ferment these sugars, creating energizing compounds, perfect for the termites' energy needs. Let's just say, It's quite the feast going on in there. Now, Goliath-sized kudos go to higher termites, who've opted for a more minimalist approach by ditching the protists entirely and relying solely on bacteria. They still get the same setup, a cozy, low-oxygen atmosphere packed with wood, while the bacteria bring their enzymatic A-game to the table. The termites keep their end of the deal sweet by ensuring a steady wood supply, which allows these tiny microbes to digest one of the toughest foods to crack. It's a win-win that enables termites to plow through a food source that most critters can only dream about. What's even more fascinating is how these tiny critters play a colossal role in our ecosystems, especially in tropical and subtropical regions. Termites are the eco-warriors of the woodlands, tirelessly breaking down dead plant material and recycling invaluable nutrients. In savannas and forests alike, these hard workers process enormous quantities of wood, converting it into a usable resource for various organisms. Without termites and their microbial sidekicks, we'd be buried under a mountain of dead trees while our nutrient cycles ground to a halt. Talk about a vital partnership. Inside a termite's gut is akin to a bustling metropolis, home to hundreds of diverse microbial species coexisting in carefully structured communities. With different regions having varying oxygen levels, pH, and chemical conditions, it's like microhabitats galore. The complexities of these gut ecosystems can rival the grandiosity of soil or aquatic habitats, all snugly bundled within an insect that measures just a few centimeters in length. Now that's what we call efficiency, both in size and function. However, baby termites come into this world sans their gut microbes. They have to munch on the feces of their fellow colony mates to get the necessary gut buddies, a strange case of culinary recycling called procedural trophallaxis. This social bonding not only gives each new generation the microbial community essential for survival, but also highlights the stakes of community living. If they end up isolated post-molt, they might find themselves going hungry despite a buffet of wood nearby. Who knew technically sharing a meal could be so life or death? The intrigue doesn't stop there. Researchers are keenly interested in termite gut symbionts due to their potential for industrial enzyme production. Imagine revolutionizing biofuel production with the ability to break down plant biomass efficiently. Understanding how these microscopic communities work together could help innovate better industrial processes. It's yet another shining example of how digging into the details of symbiosis can lead to practical advances in the real world. Who knew science could be so tasty? Now, let's unravel this whole cleaning symbiosis saga in unlikely arenas. In the Amazon rainforest, certain fish have taken a cue from ocean reefs, forming alliances with catfish. The catfish use their sucker mouths to scrub off algae and parasites from the skin of their swimming buddies, offering a similar service to the infamous oceanic cleaning stations, just in fresh water. On land, the action doesn't stop. Cattle egrets are the ultimate opportunists, following grazing mammals and munching on the pesky insects disturbed by their movements. It's like pest control on hooves. In the shimmering abyss of the deep sea, where sunlight is more of a myth than a reality, cleaning symbiosis creates a unique relationship. Enter the shrimp, tiny heroes of the chemosynthetic vent communities, who dedicate their lives to tidying up after the giant tube worms. These brave little critters remove debris and potential bacterial foes from the worms' delicate plumes, proving that even in Earth's most extreme habitats, teamwork is key. Meet the Hawaiian bobtail squid, an aquatic magician, partnered with bioluminescent bacteria. This clever cephalopod hosts a colony of these glow-in-the-dark bacteria in a special organ on its belly. When nighttime approaches, the squid can manipulate the light emitted by these bacteria to match the moonlight filtering down from above, essentially eliminating its own shadow. Talk about a built-in camouflage. No predators are gonna spot this slippery character when it's swimming around. But wait, the story gets even more interesting. Each morning, our clever squid expels about 95% of its bacterial pals, preparing for a fresh start. While it takes the day off, buried in sand, those leftover bacteria party it up, multiplying rapidly. By dinner time, the squid re-emerges with a splendidly replenished bacterial army, bright and ready to help out during its nightly hunt. The partnership is truly a match made in the deep sea, ensuring a feast for both. This dynamic duo is great at keeping things in check. The squid's light organ is like a five-star hotel for bacteria, delivering vital oxygen and nutrients while managing their population so they don't get too rowdy. And for the bacteria, they've hit the jackpot. Instead of fighting for survival in the ocean, they flourish in the squid's cozy abode, making buddies and living the dream as king and queen of the light organ. When baby squids hatch, they step into a world devoid of bacteria. But don't worry, these squishy little beings have got it all figured out. They attract their necessary glow in the dark companions through nifty chemical signals. These signals lure vibrant Vibrio species right into their umbrellas, ensuring they get the optimal partners while kicking out potential troublemakers. It's like networking, but with a marine twist. But symbiosis isn't just a deep-sea phenomenon. It's been shaping human history too. Agriculture, for instance, is the grandest of partnerships, with humans cultivating plants that depend on our gentle hands while we rely on them for sustenance. Our furry friends, the domesticated animals, have entered into this symbiotic dance, providing us with everything from labor to the warm fuzzies that only a pet can offer. Then there's the epic tale of dogs, who descended from wild wolves and decided humans were pretty neat for scavenging options. Over centuries, they've turned into emotional support specialists, helping humans hunt and herd, while we shower them with love and snacks. And let's not forget about the fantastic world of fermentation. Thanks to the tiny microbes we've collaborated with, we indulge in delicious bread, beer, and yogurt, proof that symbiosis really does make everything more delightful. In the vibrant tapestry of traditional cultures, the concept of partnership with nature has been woven into their very fabric. Indigenous peoples noticed that certain plants thrived better together, like the original power couple of the garden. This clever practice, known as companion planting, was embraced long before modern science caught up. Mythology and folklore reflect this understanding, revealing stories where trees converse with spirits and humans lean on animal guides in a delightful dance of interdependence. Think about it. Many cultures embrace the idea of nature as a web of interconnected relationships rather than a series of isolated entities. While early Western science often scoffed, this worldview is surprisingly in line with contemporary ecological ideas. Today, we're taking it a step further, orchestrating new symbiotic relationships through the magic of biotechnology. We've transformed bacteria into little pharmaceutical factories, cranking out insulin for diabetics while crafting probiotics to boost gut health. Talk about a microbial makeover. But hold on to your gardening gloves. When symbiosis falters, it can lead to disastrous consequences, often when you least expect it. Take coral bleaching, for instance. As oceans heat up, these vibrant ecosystems spit out their zooxanthellae, leaving them colorless and hungry. Without swift recovery, corals meet their untimely demise. And since these reefs are home to about 25% of all marine species, the stakes couldn't be higher. The collapse of this delicate dance could threaten vast underwater biodiversity. But wait, there's more trouble brewing. Declining populations of pollinators like bees and butterflies are wreaking havoc on plants across the globe. With habitat loss, pesticide exposure, and climate changes, these essential workers are vanishing at an alarming rate. As pollinator numbers plummet, many plants find themselves with fewer seeds, and some rare species that depend on specific partners are teetering on the brink of extinction. Just think of the agricultural crunch if crops reliant on pollination begin to falter. And speaking of internal ecosystems, let's talk about humans. Disruptions in our gut microbiomes can lead to serious health issues. Overused antibiotics, poor diets, and stress are like unwelcome guests trashing the party, leading to inflammatory diseases and metabolic disorders. The search is on to restore the balance of these inner ecosystems as scientists dive headfirst into research. It's like giving our guts a much-needed reboot. Nature doesn't slow down for anyone. Climate change is causing all sorts of mischief, as symbiotic relationships are thrown into disarray with shifting ranges of organisms. A plant's migration to cooler climates could leave its trusty pollinator lagging behind. With mismatched flowering times and pollinator schedules, the finely tuned collaborations that have evolved over eons risk falling apart. Sure, some partners are showing signs of resilience, adjusting to new realities. But with nature's pace quickening, evolution needs to sprint. The disintegration of these long-standing partnerships serves as a neon warning sign flashing the state of our ecosystems. When ancient symbiotic relationships falter, it's a clear indication that something's amiss. Scientists carefully monitoring these dynamics can track environmental changes and predict larger ecological upheavals. Welcome to the realm of symbiogenesis, where symbiosis isn't just about cooperation. It can birth entirely new species, shaping the trajectory of evolution. Who knew partnerships could be so powerful? When organisms join forces to the point where they can't be pried apart, voila, a new life form comes to be. Take lichens. For instance, they're the poster children for partnership. Often seen as single species, they're actually a dynamic duo, fungi and algae entwined in a snazzy symbiotic dance. They reproduce together, sending out fungal spores and algal cells in one cooperative swoop, acting as a team in the great theatre of natural selection. Together we stand, divided, and we all starve. Scientists are diving deep into the quirky world of symbiotic relationships to argue that what we routinely label as a single species might just be a marriage of convenience. Consider corals, commonly dubbed single organisms. They actually throw wild parties with their zooxanthellae. Can these reefs really be considered individual animals when their very survival hinges on algae and a crew of friendly microbes? A more accurate classification could be coral conglomerates, a true testament to the power of teamwork in evolution. Now, moving on to aphids and their trusty bacterial companions. The bacteria are so integrated into the aphid lifestyle that they're practically an organ. This little bacterium ingested a diet of the aphid's needs and ditched its excess genome, keeping only the essentials for life. They've become like the mom that insists on sticking around so much so that they are directly passed from mother to offspring, much like mitochondria. How about that for family bonding? These relationships blur the lines between symbiosis and integration. Fast forward millions of years, and who knows what organisms might look like. Today's distinct players might tango into oblivion, merging into a new superorganism. Evolution, my friends, isn't a straight line. It's more of a chaotic dance. What has been observed over billions of years might still be happening under our noses, though at a snail's pace, making it hard to witness this elegant transformation as it unfolds. This funky concept of symbiogenesis is turning the old spiel of evolution on its head. It suggests that evolution isn't just about individual mutations trudging along a bumpy road. Rather, it includes a more thrilling plot twist, the merging of distinct organisms, each contributing their unique traits to the mix. This lateral style of acquiring new capabilities can turbocharge advancements way quicker than any random mutation could hope to achieve. Talk about a power-up in evolution. And let's not overlook the philosophical mind-bender this all presents. Cooperation, not just competition, could be the unsung hero of evolution. It promotes an idea where complexity sprouts from collaboration rather than slow and steady changes. Our neatly categorized organisms start to look less like distinct entities and more like complex ecosystems with fluid boundaries, weaving an intricate tapestry of life. Turning the lens to us humans, our microbiomes, those tiny ecosystems bustling around in our guts, tell a fascinating story of their own. Each person's unique gut zoo, shaped by genetics and lifestyle, develops from the moment we make our entrance into the world. Birth can be a wild microbial party, setting the stage for the diverse cast of characters that come to call our gut their home. By adulthood, your microbiome finds its groove, echoing patterns that are distinct yet relatable among us humans. But hold your horses, your microbiome isn't a one-and-done deal. It shifts and adapts like a chameleon, responding to your culinary choices in mere days. Want to boost those beneficial bacteria? Load up on fiber. Craving kale? You're probably feeding the good guys. Shovel in some fermented goodies, and voila, new strains join the party. However, beware the siren song of processed foods. They might just nudge your microbiome in the wrong direction, demonstrating that even the tiniest organisms can wield a colossal influence on our health. Your genome is like a timeless sculpture, always the same no matter where life takes you. But your microbial partners? They're more like vibrant graffiti artists, swapping paint to match the vibe of their surroundings. So, when you move to a new place or try that daring new diet, your microbiome shakes things up to help you adapt to all the crazy changes. This rapid microbial makeover may be one of the reasons humans can call virtually every environment home. Researchers are diving deeper into this microbial magic. They're trying to figure out if we can tweak our microbiomes for better health. Take fecal microbiota transplants, for instance. These quirky procedures have been solving pesky gut infections with surprising success. Then there's the thrilling concept of personalized probiotics, crafted specifically for your unique microbiome. The thought of editing your microbial landscape like a gardener nipping away weeds is a fresh twist in the world of medicine. Ever wondered how your gut bacteria might be shaping your personality? It's a wild thought. Some researchers think your microbiome could influence your food cravings, mood swings, and even how susceptible you are to certain illnesses. While the connection between our gut bacteria and our brains sounds like one of those mad science experiments, the complexity of it all is still being pieced together, adding a delightful layer of intrigue. Looking at social animals adds another twist to the story of cooperation. Think about social insects like ants and bees, which have colonies where every member has a unique job. In a honeybee world, the queen is all about reproduction while the worker bees juggle foraging, nursing, and guarding the hive. They've mastered the concept that teamwork makes the dream work. A single bee wouldn't stand a chance alone, but collectively they create thriving communities that last for years. Meanwhile, naked mole rats kick things up a notch. These quirky creatures live underground in colonies led by one breeding female. The non-breathing workers pull together to maintain the tunnels and scrounge up food. It's kind of a one for all and all for one situation. They've taken cooperation to a level where individuals sacrifice personal ambitions for the good of the colony. Each member plays an essential role, reminding us that every function counts for their survival. Even in less extreme social creatures, cooperation is key. Take vampire bats sharing their blood meals. It's a spiky relationship built on mutual benefit. Monitor lizards watch while others forage, and dolphins don't just look good in the water, they're also big on teamwork when it comes to hunting. There's a network of altruism in animal behavior that mirrors how humans operate. After all, we rely on one another to navigate this wild world of groceries, gadgets, and life hacks. As we venture into the future of symbiosis research, we're finding ourselves in a thrilling exploration. With advanced DNA techniques, researchers are uncovering secret microbial partnerships that have been hiding in plain sight. The more we poke around with metagenomics, the more we realize how dramatically diverse our microbial buddies really are. It's clear, life thrives through connection, whether in great partnerships across species or among members of the same team. The interconnected web of life just keeps getting more fascinating. Imaging technologies have ushered in a new era for researchers, allowing them to witness the dynamic dance of symbiotic interactions as they unfold. With fluorescent markers that paint partners in vibrant hues, these scientists can see how different organisms mingle within host tissues. Time-lapse microscopy captures everything from that awkward initial handshake to a blossoming relationship, making what was once a mystery now blossom before our eyes. It's like reality TV for microbes, complete with drama and plot twists. But the quest for knowledge doesn't stop there. Researchers are diving headfirst into the world of engineering beneficial symbiosis. Picture this: designing microbes that act as little bodyguards for our crops, warding off pests or drought like tiny superheroes. Maybe we could forge alliances between bacteria and plants that work like nitrogen factories, optimizing efficiency and feeding the world. With synthetic biology, the possibilities feel boundless, and who knows what quirky partnerships could be on the horizon. Beyond the agricultural realm, understanding how organisms cozy up to one another carries lessons that ripple through human endeavors. What if studying microbial partnerships could enlighten our own social systems and economics? After all, the way nature fosters collaboration may offer a roadmap for us to build better, more sustainable relationships not just between ourselves but also with our beloved planet. As climate change looms, these symbiotic relationships come under the microscope again. Researchers are grappling with how partnerships will weather rising temperatures and changing conditions. Will certain alliances crumble under pressure? And can we strategize to fortify or restore these vital connections? These inquiries are pivotal for crafting conservation strategies and climate adaptation plans, ensuring we don't lose what's essential in this interconnected web of life. Exploring beyond Earth, astrobiology considers whether life elsewhere could be similarly intertwined. If extraterrestrial life exists, might it forge partnerships akin to those we have here? The secret lives of symbiotic organisms thriving in Earth's extremes suggest that cooperation might be a universal feature of life. In our search for alien life, perhaps we'll find clues in the cooperation that mirrors our own, lighting the way to new cosmic connections. Philosophically, the idea of symbiosis spins a profound tale about identity and individuality. If our bodies host trillions of microbes guiding our well-being, where does the you end and the others begin? These microbial sidekicks might be part of our identity, reshaping the very idea of what it means to be an individual. And it's not just microbes. Our mitochondria were once free-living bacteria, blurring the lines even further. Life isn't a solo act, it's a communal symphony. This lens prompts us to rethink our moral obligations. If we're all part of larger communities, caring for ourselves may mean nurturing our microbial companions. In this view, environmental stewardship evolves from protecting individual species to preserving whole networks of symbiotic relationships. Indigenous worldviews have long embraced these interconnected ideas, often placing humanity as part of nature rather than apart from it. Maybe, just maybe, as we delve deeper into symbiosis, we'll shift our cultural narratives towards embracing our interconnection. Ultimately, the hollow vision concept invites us to see organisms as ecosystems. You aren't just a solitary entity wandering the world. You're a bustling community filled with diversity and dynamics. Recognizing this doesn't diminish individuality, it amplifies it. From the earliest eukaryotic cells to complex ecosystems today, symbiosis reveals that cooperation is life's backbone. In a world filled with competition, let's not forget the beauty of collaboration, the true architecture that holds all living things together, thriving as one. In the depths of the ocean, where sunlight is as rare as a good hair day for a sea cucumber, giant tube worms have mastered the art of survival. These remarkable creatures live among deep-sea hydrothermal vents, where scalding water and rich chemicals spill from the ocean floor. Forget stomachs and teeth, they don't need them. Instead, they host symbiotic bacteria within a special organ called the trophosome, which helps them dine on chemical gold rather than the usual algae buffet. Talk about a weird diet. These bacteria are little superheroes, converting toxic hydrogen sulfide from vent fluids into nutritious organic compounds. While the worms provide a cozy home and essential gases, like oxygen and carbon dioxide, The bacteria do all the heavy lifting in the nutrition department. As a result, these majestic tube worms can grow up to 2 meters long in an environment that would make most animals weep in despair. They can live for centuries, forming massive colonies, ready to party anytime with those bacteria buddies until, of course, the vent decides to take a permanent vacation. But wait, there's more. Symbiosis isn't just a deep-sea affair. At cold seeps, where methane bubbles up from the seafloor, clams and mussels have struck deals with bacteria that feast on these hydrocarbons. Together, they form thriving communities amidst the deep-sea mud, proving life can throw a micro-party even in the muddiest of circumstances. These life forms are cheeky little innovators, showing that survival doesn't have to rhyme with sunshine when there's chemical energy to tap. Further up the thrill scale, we find xyrophilic microbes living in frozen brine channels, defying temperatures that would make a polar bear shudder. Some of these microbes have also joined forces, exchanging nutrients and protective compounds to withstand the extreme cold, resembling a frigid version of a buddy cop movie. Meanwhile, in the Antarctic dry valleys, where survival is a game of endurance, endolithic lichens are growing inside rocks, battling harsh winds and blistering cold like true champions. Moving to hotter pastures, we discover thermophilic organisms in steaming hot springs, where temperatures would have most proteins throwing in the towel. Here, algae team up with bacteria in a magnificent collaboration that creates mats capable of surviving waters hotter than a freshly made cup of coffee. The bacteria give structural support while the algae work hard to photosynthesize, just like a couple working together to keep their home in tip-top shape. As we explore life's ability to form symbiotic partnerships, we see that teamwork often translates into survival. This cooperation allows for different metabolic capabilities and stress tolerance mechanisms to merge, effectively broadening the horizons of livable environments. It's a classic case of together we can achieve great things like thriving in places where others might merely contemplate their existence. Now, let's talk about vertical transmission. Some partners are so crucial that they get passed straight down from parent to offspring, ensuring every new generation has its trusty sidekicks. Take aphids, for example. They pass their essential bacteria directly to their little ones, setting them up with the right tools before they even enter the world. It's like a genetic hand-me-down that ensures the partnership never breaks, though it does limit the diversity of their bacterial squad. Finally, we see an intriguing nested symbiosis in scale insects, carrying around layers of bacterial partners, each providing unique metabolic functions, like a Russian doll of symbiotic goodness. Their close co-evolution means that the survival of these symbionts depends entirely on the host's success, which, let's be honest, is a lot of pressure for a tiny insect. As some parasites like the Wolbachia bacteria take this strategy, it turns out that whether it be friendship or dependency, life keeps finding creative ways to thrive, no matter the temperature. The world of Wolbachia embodies the classic duality of nature, part parasite, part ally. These clever little microbes sometimes act like cunning puppeteers, controlling their host's reproductive choices to favor infected females. Interestingly, in a twist of fate typical of nature's sense of humor, some Wolbachia strains evolved to actually shield their hosts from harmful viruses. It's a complex dance that really showcases the fluid line between parasitic relationships and beneficial partnerships, all playing out over the backdrop of evolution. In social insects like bees, this intrigue deepens. The process of vertical transmission, that's the fancy term when microbial partnerships get passed down, happens within colonies, almost like handing down the family recipe. New queens inherit their nourishing microbiomes either through a gourmet meal or a friendly antenna bump. This creative transmission keeps colonies stocked with helpful microorganisms across generations, essentially equipping them for survival against all odds, even if the arrangement sounds a bit like a microbial family reunion. Now, where things get truly spicy is when we explore the complex implications of such vertical transmission. Loading up on partners along with genetic material creates a hybrid package of sorts. Selection pressures don't just affect individual organisms anymore. They hone in on this intertwined group. It's like a cosmic three-way dance where each partner has to keep in sync, stoking fires of rapid co-evolution that might lead to complete merging of species eventually. Just imagine, you and your best friend becoming one entity, no pressure there, right? However, not every relationship in nature is built on warm fuzzies and mutual benefits. Meet the Ampulex compressor, otherwise known as the jewel wasp. This villainous critter perfectly exemplifies nature's darker side, as she mercilessly stings cockroaches. The wasp's venom tricks the roach into a state of mind where it can move but has zero motivation to do so. Like an unenthusiastic pet on a leash, the roach is led to the wasp's burrow only to be sealed inside for a truly gruesome fate. At least the wasp is practical, delicately dining on the roach's insides without a care for its fate. Another quirky example of nature's mind-bending parasitism comes from the cordyceps fungus, which infects ants. Picture this: an ant, due to mind control from the fungus, leaves its colony and climbs a nearby plant, biting into a twig as if it's the newest role in a freaky theatre production. This zombie-like action ensures the fungus fruits from the ant's head, blasting out spores to spread the fungal menace to the rest of the colony. From the fungus's perspective, it's just networking talk about an extreme social strategy. Then there's Toxoplasma gondii, a single-celled parasite that's playing puppet master, particularly with rodents. It rewires their emotional wiring, making them reckless and unafraid of cat scents. Unsurprisingly, this opens the door for trembling felines to scoop them up for a meal, perfectly setting the stage for Toxoplasma to fulfill its reproductive needs. If you think that's disturbing, welcome to the horror show that is nature. For parasites, it's all about survival, not fairness or kindness. Looking beyond the bizarre lives of parasites, their manipulative tendencies show a striking complexity in behavioral ecology. Many of the peculiar antics we observe in the animal kingdom may stem not from instinct, but from unseen manipulations. Ever notice an animal acting oddly? There's a chance it's catching a ride on the weirdness train courtesy of a parasite, which adds a fascinating layer to our understanding of animal behavior and evolution alike. It's not just about the genes, it's about the invisible players tugging at those genetic strings from behind the scenes. Lastly, let's talk about the human aspect of this intricate web of life. The role of microbes in our health has shifted perceptions in medicine, transitioning from viewing them as mere villains to acknowledged partners. Researchers are unveiling the vast influences these tiny organisms hold over our immune responses, metabolism, and even brain functions. The skin, for instance, is like a bustling microbial city, housing communities that fend off pathogens while promoting skin health. It's a reminder that symbiosis in health isn't just a concept, it's an essential reality we're just beginning to grasp. When it comes to skin health, all those pesky microbes might be your best friends. Disruption to our skin's microbial ecosystem can lead to annoying conditions like acne, eczema, and psoriasis. Think of skin microbiomes as tiny guardians nurturing these lively communities might just be the key to keeping your skin radiant. So next time you slather on that moisturizer, remember that there's a bustling party of microbes hanging out, eagerly waiting for a little love. But wait, there's more. Our respiratory system isn't left out of the microbial fun, as it's home to its own squad of microbes chilling in the nose, throat, and lungs. These little helpers are pivotal in determining our vulnerability to respiratory infections and chronic conditions like asthma. Surprisingly, the makeup of these respiratory microbiomes can even act as a crystal ball, predicting disease risks and how effectively treatments will work. Who knew your sinuses were such a bustling metropolis of tiny organisms? On another front, the female reproductive tract is a busy hive, primarily populated by helpful lactobacillus species. These microbes are the fruitarians of the microbial world, keeping everything at an acidic pH and warding off unwelcome guests. When this delicate ecosystem is disturbed, it could lead to infections or complications during pregnancy. It's becoming increasingly clear that maintaining a healthy vaginal microbiome is not just about comfort, but essential for reproductive health too. Ladies, let your microbes do their thing. Now, let's not forget the mouth, an incredible universe of hundreds of microbial species doing their thing. These mouth dwellers form complex biofilms that are crucial not only for dental health but overall systemic wellness. Can you believe that bacteria from our mouths could hitch a ride into the bloodstream, potentially creating chaos like cardiovascular disease? Keeping those microbial communities in check isn't just about scrubbing away with a toothbrush. It's about nurturing them to maintain a thriving community. Researchers are on a quest to better manipulate these microbial societies. Enter probiotics, those little wonders that introduce beneficial microbes. Prebiotics, on the other hand, are like the gourmet meals for these beneficial species. Imagine them as a two-course meal: first the probiotics, then the prebiotics, creating symbiotics. This concoction of microbes may pave the way for customized microbiome interventions suited for each individual's unique microbiome needs. Talk about personalization at its finest. With these awesome microbial insights, it's no surprise that antibiotic use needs some rethinking. While antibiotics can save lives, they tend to wipe out helpful microbes right alongside the bad. This opens the door for nasty organisms to sneak in and start a ruckus. It's crucial to adopt smarter, more targeted antimicrobial strategies that defend our friendly microbes while dealing out justice to the pathogens. Let's protect our microbial buddies while kicking the bad guys to the curb. Now, how does this all tie back to education? Emphasizing symbiosis can twist our worldview from solely survival of the fittest to a rich narrative of interdependence. Teaching students about these microbial alliances helps break down the walls of competition, showing that teamwork makes the ecosystem thrive. Understanding the beauty of symbiosis cultivates empathy, teaching kids that, just like their microbes, they flourish in cooperation. Who said science cannot fuel social change? It's time for a revolution. Researchers have stumbled upon a nifty trick. Adding mycorrhizal fungi to degraded soils can fast-track plant establishment and growth. Think of it as a power-up for plants. When you're reclaiming barren mine sites, the fungi swoop in like superheroes, helping green sprouts make friends with their new habitat. They connect planting buddies, share nutrients like it's a potluck, and enhance soil structure so plant communities can grow like they're at a fabulous mansion party. In the underwater world, coral restoration scientists are getting cheeky by exploring how to team corals with heat-tolerant zooxanthellae strains. This savvy matchmaking aims to make corals more resilient to ever-warmer oceans. It's like a relationship intervention. Early signs are promising, showing that some coral species can successfully make the switch to the new zoopals, which is a huge win for those colorful reef ecosystems trying to survive climate chaos. But wait, it's not just about saving coral and soil. Pollinators in our gardens are in dire need too. Conservation efforts now focus heavily on planting diverse native flowers that bloom throughout the seasons, ensuring our buzzing friends have plenty of food year-round. We need to channel our inner biologist and understand which pollinators dig which plants. This way, restored habitats become thriving pollination networks, supporting agriculture and keeping those sweet fruits and veggies plentiful. Speaking of supporting nature, embracing symbiotic relationships is key to sustainable practices. Enter the nitrogen-fixing legumes and cover crops, nature's little soil enrichers. These green buddies don't just brighten up the landscape, they naturally boost soil nutrients and help combat diseases. Reduced tillage practices protect those precious mycorrhizal networks like a cozy blanket, allowing nature to work its magic rather than fighting against it. And let's not forget about microbial refuges. Some genius restoration projects are creating these mini sanctuaries, minimizing soil disturbances to keep diverse microbial communities thriving. These refuges can act as microbial hotspots, providing beneficial microbes to nearby areas in need. It's a microbial matchmaking event, recognizing that the little guys in the soil deserve some love, just as much as the plants and animals. Digging deeper, there's a treasure trove of economic value tied up in these symbiotic relationships. Just consider pollination services estimated to net hundreds of billions of dollars globally. Without our bee buddies, many crops would flop, and suddenly we'd be paying sky-high prices for our beloved fruits. Then, of course, there's nitrogen fixation. Those leguminous pals save farmers tons of cash by reducing the need for synthetic fertilizers, cutting down pollution and significantly lowering greenhouse gas emissions. Let's not overlook livestock either. Those tiny microorganisms in animal guts play a vital role in feed efficiency and growth rates. With a little microbial tweaking, farmers could yield better results with fewer feed inputs. Plus, we can't forget the booming fermentation industries reliant on microbial magic. Beer, wine, cheese, and other delicious treasures depend on these power-packed partnerships, showcasing the economic heft that bursts forth from simple organisms working together. Lastly, ecotourism has been cashing in on breathtaking symbiotic relationships. Travelers flock to see vibrant coral reefs, herds of grazing animals hanging out with their bird buddies, and fascinating cleaning stations in action. It's not just eye candy. These natural wonders fuel local economies and inspire conservation efforts. In many cases, the value of protecting intact ecosystems outweighs the fleeting profits of destructive exploitation, making it crucial to recognize and appreciate these intricate life forms and their extraordinary connections. As we set our sights on long-term space travel and otherworldly colonization, the idea of symbiosis gains newfound importance. Spacecraft and stations essentially function as tiny closed-off ecosystems. No resource can go to waste. Microbes become our trusted allies, happily recycling what we toss out. Imagine a trusty team of microorganisms keeping our ship afloat or orbiting. With nature's finest by our side, we're on our way to a lush cosmos full of green-thumbed astronauts. Picture this: plants thriving in the vacuum of space, teaming up with mycorrhizal fungi like old pals sharing snacks. Together, they bolster nutrient absorption, turning limited space soil into rich, fertile ground. Meanwhile, nitrogen-fixing bacteria step in to save the day, reducing our need to lug heavy bags of fertilizers through the stars. Not only does this mean happier plants, but it also paves the way for a sustainable future while we sip tang and gaze at the cosmos. And let's not forget about how we deal with our waste. The craft could be humming with microbial communities that munch down organic waste, essentially turning our leftovers into compost and usable nutrients. It's like recycling on steroids. Research is diving deep into how we can keep these microbial friends thriving in our artificial habitats. Imagine a bustling space station where humans and microbes join forces in a glorious partnership, keeping everything habitable and groovy up there. However, life in space isn't all breezy nutrient exchanges. Turns out astronauts' microbiomes buddy up with the peculiarities of space travel. Microgravity and radiation can change our internal microbe populations, which might spell trouble for long missions. This calls for some high-tech solutions, probiotic supplements, tailored diets, and potentially some fecal microbiota transplants. It sounds rather unglamorous, but this is how we keep our microbial entourage in tip-top shape for cosmic adventures. If life exists elsewhere in the universe, who's to say it isn't packed with symbiotic relationships similar to what we see on Earth? When hunting for alien biosignatures, let's keep an eye out for clues indicating cooperation. A planet with diverse atmospheric signatures could hint at a bustling network of interdependent life forms. However, we've got to tread cautiously, ensuring we don't inadvertently unleash Earth's microbes onto other worlds or bring back something truly alien to our own backyard. Now, if we venture into terraforming distant planets, symbiotic relationships become even more crucial. Just tossing down a few plants or animals isn't going to cut it. We need to establish full ecosystems stocked with everything from soil microbes to fungi to pollinators. Success in making a planet hospitable means recognizing all those hidden partnerships that work together like a well-oiled machine, crafting a balanced ecosystem that doesn't skip a beat. And speaking of origins, the symbiotic theme resonates deeply with the story of life itself. Some scientists speculatively propose that early life may have emerged from collaborative interactions among simple molecules. Self-replicating molecules hitching their wagons to others might have paved the way for the first cells. As cell membranes layered up to separate insides from outsides, opportunities for unique partnerships developed. It's possible that these early molecules formed an interconnected dance that spiraled toward the rich tapestry of life we see today. From a vibrant viewpoint, our existence isn't a lonely one, it's a bustling community. Life thrives on connections and partnerships, echoing the idea that symbiosis is fundamental to survival. Imagine if out there, in the vast universe, life isn't just about competing, but rather about cooperating. Next time you gaze at the stars, think about how interdependence could be just as critical to understanding alien life as survival instincts. The beauty of symbiosis isn't limited to scientists in lab coats. It spills over into the fields of art and culture. Picture the stunning colors of coral reefs, a vibrant accomplishment of algae and animals teaming up. This enchanting partnership has sparked creativity in painters, photographers, and filmmakers alike. The lichen-adorning tree bark has also caught the eyes of artists throughout centuries, showcasing nature's ability to inspire awe and appreciation through its incredibly artistic collaborations. Indigenous art shines with themes of symbiosis too. For example, Pacific Northwest coast art beautifully expresses the transformative relationships between humans and animals, reminding us of their interconnectedness. Similarly, Aboriginal Australian art embodies the landscape as an intricate web of relationships, a concept that was recognized long before Western science put it into formal terms. These traditions illustrate that the understanding of symbiosis is rich and diverse, deeply woven into the fabric of various cultures. Today's contemporary artists take a bold leap into the world of symbiosis, blending living organisms into their work. Imagine installations where bacteria, fungi, plants, and animals interact, creating a partnership between the artist and the living bits around them. Such works blur the lines between art and life, challenging us to think about where one life form ends and another begins. It's a wonderfully engaging exploration that showcases the living world as one complex, interconnected masterpiece. Literature and film are also catching the symbiosis bug. From epic tales showcasing cooperation between varied species to discovering that we're all part of a greater whole, narratives reflect this growing cultural fascination. Science fiction, especially, loves to chat about symbiotic aliens and utopian societies where humans harmonize with other organisms, urging us to think outside the human-centric box. Similarly, musicians from diverse backgrounds collaborate to create fusions of sound that highlight the beauty of partnership. Beyond just biology, the metaphor of symbiosis extends to life's many partnerships. When we appreciate these connections, conservation takes on a new charm. Coral reefs morph from mere fish habitats into breathtaking masterpieces of unity. Forests evolve from a mere collection of trees into vibrant communities held together by unseen fungal highways. By valuing these symbiotic relationships, we encourage efforts to protect them, unveiling the larger narrative of life. Deep philosophical and spiritual ideas also resonate with the essence of symbiosis. Various traditions point to the significance of interconnection, reinforcing our role as part of a larger network. Think of the Gaia hypothesis, proposing Earth as a self-regulating system akin to a grand organism. While sparking debates, it illustrates that everything is intertwined, with symbiotic relationships stitching together the tapestry of life on our planet, each thread significant in this grand narrative. Our bodies are bustling ecosystems, every system buzzing with interdependent relationships. Think of it this way: every partnership in life mirrors this symbiotic dance. Acknowledging this idea can create a sense of humility and gratitude for those around us. For some, it's like unlocking a door to divine wisdom, where understanding these intricate bonds elevates their spiritual journey. Meanwhile, others find joy in ecological spirituality, discovering the profound meaning in interdependence. This concept of symbiosis raises some intriguing ethical dilemmas. Let's ask the million-dollar question. As part of a community rather than mere individuals, what ethical responsibilities emerge? For instance, should we factor in our microscopic companions when we opt for health decisions? The notion here extends to conservation efforts, pushing us to consider symbiotic relationships rather than focusing exclusively on protecting individual species. After all, preserving those partnerships is crucial. Traditional environmental ethics have, for years, revolved around preventing harm to wildlife and preserving biodiversity. But a fresh perspective emerges with symbiosis. Preserving relationships takes priority too. Take coral reefs, for example. When coral kicks out its zooxanthellae, both organisms may hang on, yet they lose a partnership centuries in the making. This loss resonates through the ages, spanning a history that deserves our recognition and respect. In the medical world, this symbiotic ethic champions treatments that nurture beneficial microbes instead of simply vanquishing harmful ones. We ought to emphasize preventive care that promotes a balanced microbiome, highlighting the inseparable link between human and microbial health. This principle extends to agriculture. Rather than treating soil like an expendable commodity, why not foster buzzing microbial communities and support our natural allies? The realm of animal welfare could blossom with this concept too. Imagine zoo animals being treated with probiotics to keep their guts happy, or rehabilitation projects ensuring wild critters possess the right microbial blend before being released back into nature. Conservation breeding could even pivot to preserving not just the genetic makeup of animals but their viral and bacterial companions as well, creating a holistic approach to survival. Adopting this symbiotic ethic implies we're part of a complex web of mutual support. Acting solely on self-interest might seem appealing, but it can lead to long-term defeats. Harsh news. On a grand scale, this perspective could reshape climate policies and conservation strategies. Ignoring the symbiosis that sustains life, like our coral reefs and buzzing pollinators, can have consequences far beyond what's captured in economic data. We damage ancient bonds, and for what? A few short-term gains. What's wild about symbiosis is how much of it glides beneath the surface, virtually invisible. Stroll through a forest, and you may notice the trees, but those intricate fungal networks connecting them are entirely out of sight. The same goes for the algae nestled within coral. Even your own hand is populated with microbes, quietly interacting in a microscopic community. Most people navigate life oblivious to the symbiotic relationships that uphold our existence, tethered together by myriad unseen threads. When you munch on that apple, revel in the reality that you're savoring a product born from countless partnerships: the tree, its fungal allies, the diligent bees, and the nitrogen-fixing bacteria. Each bite embodies a network of cooperation. Taking a breath, you're relying on oxygen generated by ancient partnerships found within algae and chloroplasts. Your body is not just a standalone entity. It thrives as part of a lively microbial community, continually woven into the fabric of life. Every moment of your life is intertwined with a web of partnerships that might just leave you feeling a bit overwhelmed. We love to imagine ourselves as lone wolves, cruising through life unencumbered by others. But there's a delightful twist to this story. We are all part of communal ecosystems. Realizing that our bodies host countless collaborations can throw off our self-image but also unlock a liberating sense of belonging. Embrace it, folks. Serving as a cog in a much grander machine means we're never truly alone. Now, here's the kicker. While most partnerships are invisible, their vulnerability often goes unnoticed. Think about the wondrous world beneath your feet. Those soil microbial communities can be decimated by farming practices like tillage or the overuse of chemicals without any immediate damage. It's like a hidden treasure chest that gets looted, only for you to realize much later that it was filled with priceless ecological gems. Then, just when the crops begin to sputter, reality strikes, and we're left scratching our heads. Here's where education, art, and media come to play superheroic roles in turning the tide for conservation. Imagine if people understood that every ant is not just a mindless little critter but a key player in an intricate community, toting antibiotic-making bacteria to shield its fungal garden. Suddenly, that bug becomes an essential member of an innovative society, showcasing how interconnectedness fuels life itself. And when folks realize trees nurture their young via underground fungal networks, forests morph from mere collections of timber into sprawling, loving families. Feeling resilient yet? That's the magic of symbiotic relationships. A dynamic duo can often save each other's skin by compensating for weaknesses, creating a system that's simply unbreakable. Picture this: coral reefs in warmer waters switching up their algal partners like savvy mixologists adjusting their cocktails. If conditions heat up, they can swap guests without missing a beat, showing that adaptability is key. Why should corals evolve when they can just partner with cooler algae instead? On the plant front, those with varied fungal partnerships are like prep school kids, better equipped for life's unpredictable exams than their single fungal counterparts. Different fungi come with unique strengths, allowing plants to access a smorgasbord of nutrients and handle various climates. And let's not forget your very own microbiome. A thriving community in your gut means a better defense against pesky pathogens, highlighting that diversity in nature translates to resilience in life. But hold your horses. This resilience has its limits. Relationships honed over centuries can't magically adapt to breakneck changes. Nature can only withstand so much before partnerships unravel. Nowadays, with human-driven activities throwing a wrench in the works, many ancient symbiosis are putting up the white flag of surrender. So, if we want to protect our planet's legacy, we need to understand the currency of resilience through partnership. This involves keeping genetic diversity intact and nurturing entire ecosystems rather than worry about individual species. As we delve further into the captivating world of symbiosis, one revelation pops up loud and clear. It's not as black and white as we'd like to think. The lines between mutualism, commensalism, and parasitism can get delightfully fuzzy. Relationships can change shape and meaning based on environmental stressors. A partnership that flourishes in one context might flip into a predatory nightmare under pressure. Nature doesn't adhere to our neat labels, and that's the essence of the dance of life, an ever-evolving play where the backdrop is constantly shifting. In the thrilling realm of relationships, it turns out things are not as simple as they appear. Take cleaner fish, for example. They fancy themselves as parasites' worst nightmare, munching down on all the pesky little bugs. But, hold the phone. These finned fellows sometimes indulge in a sneaky nibble of the fish's healthy tissues, too. It's a bit like having that one friend who borrows your snacks but takes a huge bite of your sandwich while they're at it. The world of nature is a delightful mess of complex interrelations not neatly packaged in tidy boxes. Understanding this complexity should excite us rather than deflate our spirits. Symbiotic relationships are not static. They are as dynamic as a dance floor at a wedding. They twist and turn, adapt, and change to meet the evolving circumstances of life. Just like humans negotiate and balance their relationships, these biological partnerships are constantly in flux. Embracing symbiosis as a continuum encourages us to appreciate the rich tapestry of life who knew nature had so much drama. This nuanced perspective goes way beyond the critters swimming around in the ocean. It spills over into our human connections, social systems, and even the environment we inhabit. In recognizing that relationships are fluid and context matters, we can approach everything with a fresher mindset. Whether it's friendships, family ties, or our bond with nature, we must remain vigilant and open to change. It can be both enlightening and liberating. As we wind up our plunge into this ocean of symbiosis, it becomes crystal clear: life is a web of interdependence. Cooperation swims alongside competition, and partnerships are the lifeblood of evolution and ecosystem sustainability. We're not solitary beings. We're communities wrapped in animal skins, bustling around, interconnected in ways we may not even realize. This realization is as profound as it is empowering. It redefines our role in this beautiful chaos we call life. Its implications hit hard. Our existence is intertwined with a multitude of other beings and ecosystems. Our health depends heavily on those tiny organisms that reside within us, and we owe our survival to the plants and animals around us. We're like complex ecosystems on legs, reliant on partnerships that bolster our very being. Far from showcasing our independence, this intertwining reveals our strength, for we could accomplish nothing without our microscopic pals. Talk about teamwork. With every realization of these interconnections, a wave of hope washes over us, especially in our current climate crisis. Nature's partnerships hold the secret to crafting a sustainable future, encouraging us to work alongside the natural world rather than waging war against it. The challenges ahead don't have to be framed as sacrifices. Instead, they can introduce opportunities for cooperative abundance, just like lichens teaming up with rocks to bring forth rich soil. Now, as you stride through your day, keep your eyes peeled. Be aware that every plant you encounter is whispering its secrets through the subterranean fungal networks, while the soil teems with bustling bacterial communities. Even within you, trillions of microbes are tirelessly working towards your health. Each meal, every breath, and moment of life resonates with the magic of symbiotic partnerships. Remember, the very air you breathe and the food on your plate are gifts from profound relationships, a cosmic reminder that we are all linked in this splendid web of life. The ground we walk on isn't just dirt. It's a bustling community created by lichens and microbes breaking down rock into soil. Picture that. We're not just observers of nature. We're fully immersed in this glorious drama of life, playing pivotal roles in a sprawling network of relationships. Every choice, whether it's about sustainable agriculture or pollution control, ripples through countless partnerships, shaping the land and sea around us. So, let's take a moment to appreciate how our actions nurture the world. Supporting sustainable farming isn't only about the food we eat. It also helps protect delicate soil microbiomes. And have you ever thought about corals? They thrive when we reduce pollution, maintaining their vibrant colors and health. Preserving habitats isn't just an environmental duty. It's about safeguarding entire networks of connections that sustain life on Earth, reminding us that collaboration beats domination every time. As we wind down our reflection, imagine your body as an incredible ecosystem. It's not just a singular entity. It's home to billions of tiny helpers working around the clock to support your health. They help digest your food, fend off pesky germs, and keep everything in harmony. It's almost like having a bustling city of microscopic teamwork inside you. What a party! Now envision those vast, untouched forests, their roots intertwined underground through fungal networks. Picture trees sharing nutrients with their saplings, or coral reefs dancing with algae in radiant colors, showing off an extraordinary fusion of life. All this activity is buzzing beneath your feet, revitalizing the soil with organisms that have perfected cooperation over millions of years. They were here before us, and they'll continue long after we're gone. But don't let this knowledge weigh you down. Rather, revel in the comfort of it. You're a crucial part of this age-old tapestry. Every single cell in your body is like a tiny piece of history, holding mitochondria from ancient bacteria. Your gut is a vibrant community influencing your thoughts and feelings. Embrace the fact that you're not just one being. You are an ecosystem, wonderfully complex and interconnected with the universe. As you settle into a calm state, imagine merging with this grand web of life. You're not isolated. You're a node in an extensive relationship network, feeling the invisible threads that connect you to everything around you. The air you inhale is tied to photosynthetic wonders. The food you consume links you to the soil's microscopic allies. And even the water in your system has traveled through countless beings before you. Isn't that a comforting thought? Let this awareness wash over you like a gentle wave. You are cradled by a multitude of unseen partners. Life is a vast, interconnected embrace, and as you prepare for sleep, hold on to the knowledge that symbiosis is constantly at work around you. Bacteria are breaking down your last meal, fungi are trading nutrients in silent forests, and corals are exchanging energy with algae beneath moonlit waters. You are in the dance of life, forever part of it. So, whether you doze off dreaming of fungal connections in lush forests or the glowing coral reefs of the tropics, let the magic of cooperation inspire your imagination. The world thrives on the beautiful web of give and take, and as you close your eyes and drift into stillness, remember, you are never alone. Good night, dreamer. You belong to a dazzling tapestry of existence woven through the ages.